Hey, Andre McLeod, you're along with John Toad and Don Pon, I believe, who's a Tanuki, bringing you our
Yes.
review of Star Fox on Switch 2. We are using the amazing VTuber option in the game, which might make it the best game on Switch 2 for this alone. And yeah, we have to talk about this in our full review of this game. We've all been playing it a ton. We all grew up with the original. And let's just go around real quick, giving our quick overall thoughts. And actually, you know what? Let's get out of the way, our review score as well. Let's start off with you, John, actually. John, quick thoughts and review score on our typical, emotion-based scale.
I consider this probably now the definitive way of playing Star Fox 64, and I like
64.
64.
Man, that got dark. This is a darker game.
My brain mixed up Lilat Wars with 64. I would say this is probably the go-to way of playing this game, and I liked it a lot. And the new features like multiplayer have been a very delightful surprise.
Okay, so your official score is liked a lot, and the definitive way, that is a pretty definitive statement. Dang. All right, how about you, Don?
I feel the same way. It's also liked it a lot. I think in general, the things that I changed and touched, particularly in the contextualization of like the characters, is such an important thing. I think from a gameplay perspective, it updated the things that it needed to be outside of one detail, which you will get into. But in general, I think it's a real net positive.
Yeah, I don't disagree with most of what you guys have said. I would hold back in calling it the definitive version because I think there are ways in which this isn't definitive, and so I can't say it's overall like you have to play this version. I will say though, if all things being equal and a new player coming along and they could get access to both games at the same price, I probably would recommend the new game. I think it's a really well done remake. The visuals are amazing. I think they made some, even though the gameplay is basically identical down to the level design as well, I do think they modernized everything in a way that it just feels and looks good for the most part. I do have some hang-ups with some of the voice acting, but even that by and large I think is successful. So again, I wouldn't call it definitive, but I do think it's very good. And I would say though, I'm not rating it as a product, I'm rating it as an experience. And since I've experienced all this before outside of the online battle mode, I'm giving it a like. I think it's a very well done remake, but I played Star Fox 64 to death. It's not what I was looking for at this time. I'm pretty sure once we're done with this review and our coverage, I probably won't come back to this game, for years to come, except for maybe the battle mode, which could continue to grow on me. I've been liking that. All right, so that's our scores. Like a lot. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this, and let's talk gameplay, I guess, real quick. And the main thing is, I think one of the reasons why I'm hesitant, I was hesitant toward this game in the first place, is because Star Fox 64 didn't need a remake. In the sense, I think it holds up really well as is. It's an arcade-based experience, and as it turns out, playing it even with modern graphics, it still feels really good. The on-rails gameplay has aged actually pretty well. The level design is it's just well constructed for the most part, and it just feels really fun to play. And you get this tight hour-ish experience for each playthrough that just feels good. Then you augment that with the new cutscenes, which add some context to the game. And yeah, I think in the gameplay sense, this game has aged very well, and I think that is speaks to the merits of how well it holds up with modern visuals. That people may not realize this is a 30-year-old creaky old game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in general, right? Like, this game indeed does hold up really well. I do think, the little touches that it added makes it feel modern, even though in some ways it also really isn't. I will say the only knock that I have really against the way how the game controls and feels is the way the bosses are handled. Because, it would light up in places where you basically would see the weak spots of those bosses. That's just gone.
Yeah, that was I don't know what they were thinking with that. It's kind of like we have to make everything realistic, so we have to compromise the gameplay in this way, in that the visual language isn't as clear. On the original game, when you shot an enemy, it would glow bright like red or blue or something. You knew you were shooting and dealing damage. Here on the new one, it's actually much harder to tell what's actually taking damage or not. Now, for most enemies, it's not a big deal because they die in one shot anyway. But for the bigger bosses or the train on Beth, for instance, you have no idea if it's actually reacting to you or not. And even for a long-time Star Fox 64 player like myself, I was still tripped up at a couple points. Is a train taking damage? Is Andross's eye actually a weak point still? What's going on here?
Right.
And for new players in particular, I think it's going to trip them up a little bit.
I had a little bit of issue with the Aquas bioweapon because it didn't have those visual cues, and I know that there's a certain order of which ones you gotta hit in that one to really get further along. But eventually I was able to figure it out. But I feel like they should definitely patch in something of like at least a toggle option. It would be, it doesn't hurt to have options for that, especially it's an accessibility feature, basically, almost a necessity one with certain bosses. And I don't know. I bet you they had some debates in development when making that decision.
I will say though, I think the alternate vehicles control way better now.
Oh yeah.
So here I agree and disagree. With the Blue Marine, I definitely agree. The R-Wing pretty much feels identical to me. So R-Wing's fine. Blue Marine, I agree. That's probably just because the frame rate's like good now, or in that level in particular. I will say, getting back to the visuals real quick, which we haven't even touched on, they look amazing. Yeah, the game runs at a consistent 60 frames per second now, whereas it was always 30 before at best. It would sometimes drop at points. I never found it too distracting before, but you can definitely feel the enhancement here. But I will say the Landmaster for me, for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel quite as fun to control for me. Like the rolling doesn't feel quite as fluid, I guess, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a frame rate, maybe the handling's a little bit different, maybe it's the same. I don't know, but yeah.
I wouldn't know. I did everything but the Landmaster, so I needed to get to that yet. I would love if they added like a Landmaster battle mode. I don't know how that would play or control.
Original game had it.
Exactly. Yep. See, they need to do it. They need to make it content complete.
But yeah, I didn't have a problem with the Landmaster. I found it was really fun to control. Only thing I sort of struggled with a little bit is the timing of the floating mechanic. A little bit at places.
Yeah, that's always been a problem to me, or a problem in quotes. It's always been a little bit tricky, I should say. So
yeah.
Yeah, I want to stress just how beautiful this game is now, and but I think the thing for me too is like, for as amazing as this game looks, replaying it, I just had. It's weird because the upgrade is so massive it almost looks like a new game, but then when you're playing it, like you recognize what it was for the most part before, and so I had this like weird sense of deja vu the entire way through. I'm like, I've experienced all this before. I know what's going to happen. I was like, I could like see the future before it was going to happen, right? The only level that didn't quite feel that way to me is Sector X, because that level got an amazing upgrade, whereas in the previous game on 64, it just felt like there's random crap floating in space for no reason. Like the idea was that there was a base there that was destroyed, but now it actually looks like it was a base before, and I love that. It feels so different that I almost didn't recognize it as the level it actually is, even though all the key parts are in the same place. But it actually feels like you're flying through a facility, which almost felt like to me like a throwback to Star Fox on the Super NES as well, where you had those space facilities you fly through. So I thought that was actually really neat, and I actually wish I felt that way about every other level in the game too. Even though they all look amazing, I just never got a sense from the others.
One thing,
another visual quirk. Go.
I was gonna say one visual thing I really liked is just the overall lighting. Some stages, man, like the way they got the lighting is so good, and the battle with Andross, really awesome lighting. So I really liked how they lit that scene. But yeah, like you notice that in most of the space stages, especially because they often have like some contrasting sun in the background that really just gives everything a nice rim lighting. But yeah, that's my note about the visuals. Is like the lighting is one of the biggest improvements, obviously, because the N64. I mean, like they were working with what they got. But that was considered like top-notch graphics back in the day, and I would say this game lives up by being once again top-notch graphics of this day.
I will say, one, this game honestly is quite a looker on Switch too. Secondly, one other visual that I really like is that when you go against the battleships, they sort of phase in, like with the draw distance in mind of the N64, but this time they just phase in like the cloak removes itself from the battleships. I think that's such a cool detail.
Yeah, I love that. Or my take on it was like, they're coming in from like a hyperspeed type thing. I don't know which it is. You might be right. Or maybe they use both effects at points throughout the game.
I think
but yeah, that was
likely,
really cool detail. Like the draw distance is much better in general, but when it needs to be lesser, yeah, they use those cool effects to disguise it, which is really clever and smart. And yeah, I'm right there with you. Like they did visually, like this game looks fantastic. So and it might make going back to the original just a little bit harder in that sense because it doesn't look. Although I will say I did miss the reflections in Corneria with the R-Wing and your blasters, like because it looks good now and you can see the environment reflecting, but the water is like rough enough where you never actually see your R-Wing reflecting.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I kind of missed that,
Sure.
Yeah, I've been playing the recompiled version of Star Fox 64, which is very awesome. It's basically being able to play it at 144 FPS, and playing it like that way, very cool way. But obviously that's not like normal. Like if you're just playing on Switch online, that's going to be like regular 30 FPS, lower resolution. But either way, it worked very well back then. But yeah, going between that, I would probably still choose this one. But I also have a very soft spot for the original.
Yeah. Let's talk voice acting, because I overall think the voice acting is good in this game.
Yes.
I will say I don't think it's better than the original. In fact, there's one character I would say is better. I think Slippy's better in this game. I never liked Slippy on N64. I think it sounds better here. But for the rest of the cast, I think it works for what it is. The Star Fox cast in particular, great. I think they're actually pretty much pitch perfect for what this game is. Star Wolf, by and large, is fine for the most part. But I will say, when it comes to the other enemies, I think that's where they missed the mark a little bit when it comes to the other bosses. They lost some aura in this translation. And again, it still works, but I don't think people aren't going to take away, like, you're not going to have those iconic line quotes like down for years down the line from this game because of the lacking delivery in some cases compared to the original. Like in the original, almost every line sounded like, you know, like, oh, this, like, it's stuck in your memory. Whereas here, I can't remember half the crap most of them said, you know?
Cocky little freak.
Yeah. he didn't say that in this one, does he? Or does he?
I don't know. I didn't catch that when I versed against him.
I think he might actually. I can't remember. But my point is that the delivery isn't as good, so you don't remember.
Yeah.
So I played this game now in a few languages, but because every campaign I just switched between languages because that seemed like a fun idea. So one thing I've noticed that's consistent for all of them is that they went for a younger Fox. And I think that really contextualizes the way that they perceive this version of the game, is that it's a Fox that skews younger, needs to find himself to be a leader, but also needs to get rid of the shadow he's cast under from his dad.
Yeah, I think the narrative element between like all the banter between Slippy and Fox, all of them, I think that's a huge great. Like I really loved hearing their banters throughout this game because I think they changed it enough to where everything felt more contextualized.
Yes.
And that was very fun. And also the cutscenes before and after also really do a good job of just getting these characters feeling more bonded out. So while the bosses and stuff, like they felt a little bit weaker because I don't know why they didn't like say, hey, you're about to die, you might want to like scream while you're recording. I don't know, everybody's just super chill. Like it's like, oh, I got defeated, bye. Like no one's going, you'll never defeat Andros.
Exactly.
Like, no one's like screaming their heart out. Like I would be screaming my heart out.
The original game knew what it was. It was like a cheesy adventure featuring flying space animals, right? And this game's taking like it's a little bit like the Resident Evil 4 remake versus the original, where it's going for like a more mature form, and some people may dig it, and I liked it too, don't get me wrong, but you lose something in that process that the original knew what it was, and I do miss that element of it, which is why I can't say like this is definitive, because so much of my memory of the original game is tied up in that over-the-top voice acting, which is really fun. But to your point though, to your points about the story, overall, like the new cutscenes, I do agree, like they help flesh out the overall, like the moment-to-moment contextualization of what's going on. Like there's levels in the game where it's just it's set up like in a sentence of what you're doing there, whereas this game just fleshed out a little bit more. But on the other hand, I never really cared why I was there. Like I'm just here to shoot crap, all right? I don't need more reasons as to why. So, and I get the sense that when I replay this game, I'm probably gonna be skipping most of those cutscenes because they all take place on the Great Fox. They don't really add a whole lot to it, and they just kind of like, you know, extend the runtime more than I think I'd want to, you know, spend with beyond the first viewing. So I think they're good. I don't know if they were necessary, and they just kind of like add context that doesn't really do much beyond giving more purpose as to why you're visiting each planet.
I think there's one good purpose, is that Star Fox always was meant to feel very cinematic, and I think that's what they're there for, is to keep the cinematic feel of like what's going on. Like you need that little bit of like, for someone who's like a storytelling enjoyer, like I get like the arcade game, like if you want to get to it, you can skip those cutscenes, and like the game doesn't like you know, hate you for doing it. You know, you can get right to it. But for people who want to have this like contextual, like almost like sit down and eat popcorn type of movie, it's like they might enjoy to kind of like take a little breather from the high intensity.
That's a good point, actually. My issue with it is they don't feel cinematic, though. They look cinematic in the sense that they're filmed well and the rendering looks really good, but there's no strife, there's no interpersonal conflict. It's all just exposition about the mission. Like, it's like 99% exposition. It's like, here's where we're going, here's why we need to do it. Also, real quick, I do like that they add, when you have a split path, they give you the context for, hey, we could go here or go here. I like that. But they don't add any new story beats or anything, right? There's no conflict. There's no character arcs, really, that weren't there before. And that's why I think it's just exposition. And if you put this into a movie, it will get horrible reviews. People they were just explaining things the entire time.
Sure. Wait. A sci-fi space adventure with a lot of exposition. You mean the Star Wars prequels? I think those are pretty well.
Pretty much. Good point.
But to be fair, I think in general, I get what you're saying. At the same time, I really enjoyed what they did within the interplay within the characters, and I think that's the most important thing. Like, it's a space adventure where Fox is trying to find himself. That's ultimately where it comes down to. What I think it also does really well, though, is like, instead of saying mission accomplished or mission completed, it basically gives you a status update and an idea of where the characters stand in basically this arc of the story.
Oh, I will say another addition I liked is actually, I say another addition, like the only addition so far, in terms of like actually adding something meaningful. I did like that when you beat the game on anything but the hard path, it now teases that there's more. I don't think it ever did that before, but now Andros totally sets up, like, they cuts to Andros like, oh, these fools, they played right into my hand, or Fox says something to that effect too. And I like that. It teases that there's more. I do wish, though, that maybe they contextualize a second playthrough to tie into that. Being like, oh, Andros is still here. We have to go fly back and get him. But you just start the whole story over. So
yeah. So I had the weird thing where I ended the first time on the really good ending because I went for the hard path.
Yeah, same here.
So the second time when I get to the end and Peppy and Fox are looking at the planet, and Peppy is like, "What's wrong, Fox? I think there's something wrong here." I was like, "Yeah," because that boss felt way shorter than the first time I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I will say, I think you guys might disagree with me on this. I know John will. I will say, for me, I actually found the boss fights easier, and I think it's because than the original game. And for one, I just know them really well. I think that's probably part of it. But also, I think the frame rate helped too. Maybe it's just so smooth now that it just felt easier.
I want to say some did feel easier, but certain ones felt harder. Like the Venom, like you approaching Venom secret boss that warps in. That one I had an unusually difficult time because I kind of swept through that one on 64, and for some weird reason, I kept missing phases, and it felt like they added more missiles too that I remember.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think that the bosses are necessarily harder. I think in some areas it's just harder to pull where you go because of the fact the lighting effects are gone. That's all what really comes down to me.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be it, actually. I think that might be it. But that did, as I said earlier, they did trim me up a little bit, in particular with Andros when I was fighting his face, which is such a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Hey, at least there's some reason why his face is a face, sort of.
Yeah. And Fox does make a pretty great face-off joke. So
I loved that joke. I was like, yes.
Awesome.
I also loved there was a Bill reference at the end there. I loved the Bill.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
What was the Bill reference?
It's literally like, hey, it's Bill.
I don't really remember.
It's well, I don't want.
You see that the true ending at the medal ceremony, Snippy is like, there's Bill.
Yeah, that's funny.
I love that. It's just a continuing meme. It's just whenever someone spots Bill, hey, it's Bill. It's like, that's me.
Yeah. I will say I played the game with the N64 controller because it felt wrong using anything else. I'm just so used to how this game controls with that controller, I just cannot play it otherwise.
All right. I tried.
I solely did it with the Pro controller. I actually put the GL and GR buttons on the barrel roll.
That's not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
I also tried out mouse controls. It's tricky. I think it would be fun to do as an experiment, but it's not it's not an optimal thing.
I think it's the best in co-op, right? Because one person focuses on the shooting, one person focuses on the flying.
Yeah, that's awesome. I tried that out.
Yeah.
Super fun. It felt like a Star Wars movie segment. It's like where one's on the gunner seat and the other's in the pilot.
Yeah.
How about the battle mode? Have you guys been playing around with that much?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What do you think?
I was hoping for a bit more. I mean, the free stages are fun, and objectives on each stage is really interesting to play around with. And like, I still having fun, even the couple of matches that I played on each of them. But I wish there was a little bit more, just a tiny smidge.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like I'm actually surprised by how much fun I've had so far.
Yes,
it at first it can seem a little overwhelming because there's a lot of like stuff happening. Once you start understanding it though, and you understand the objectives, which are actually pretty simple, it gets pretty fun. And I actually, to the point that the dogfights in the multiplayer almost make the dogfights in single player in all range mode feel kind of worse because like you're in these really narrow arenas compared to the battle mode. And yeah, it was fun, right. But the problem is that you only have 3 modes with 3 objectives, and each objective is tied to one of those modes. And I can imagine that this is probably going to start getting repetitive pretty soon. So I worry for its longevity. For now, I'm having fun, but am I going to keep coming back to it forever? Probably not, but you know, I could be wrong. Maybe I'll end up having a ton of fun still, but I do think that I'll probably tire of it pretty soon.
Which one was your favorite of the 3?
I think Corneria. I like Corneria. I also actually really like Sector Y and the getting the whatever the objective you're taking back.
Like, defeating the robots and getting the thing back to your base.
Correct. Yeah. I wasn't too big on Ficina though.
Yeah.
And the asteroids.
I didn't.
I liked
Ficina was fine, but it was sort of more trickier to pull off good strategies on that one. I
think that's it.
I liked pulling up mind games. Like when I just played this match earlier today where I got a laser and I was like, I'm gonna hold on to this when the next one shows up. So when the other team started showing up there, I activated my laser and just swiped the whole team so we can grab all the rocks. And I thought, I was like, yeah, so I had a lot of fun with that one. Also, I did go into private match and set up just deathmatch, which you can do. If you just don't want to do the objectives, there's deathmatch. And it just works as is. And I like how they balance it, because while you do spawn on the other side, those turrets and stuff still exist. So you get like helper turrets, but like if you don't want to be a camper, those like fodder enemies, they spawn in the center, so it forces you to get out and into the fray.
You see, that's cool. I wish that was also just available for everybody as just an option.
Why isn't there a free-for-all dogfighting mode available for matchmaking? I don't understand it, and it's kind of surprising it's not an option. And then also how you're not able to make public private lobbies. Like you can only fight with your friend or play with your friends, which is really annoying as a streamer, but I want to play with my community, and there's no good way to do that.
Oh, there's no like
no lobby codes.
No room codes. No.
Dang.
I know, it's a bummer.
I hope
here's hoping they keep updating the game. You know, I would love they added new maps down the line. You know, the fact that each map is based on a planet is making me a little hopeful that maybe more planets could come in. And I will say I actually really like, you know, at least in Corneria in particular, I really like the design of that battle arena. Like, it felt like you can actually do some pretty cool maneuvers, like flying around all the structures and everything. Again, far more than you can do in all range mode in the single player, where there's always like a single center structure in that jet you're flying around, you know?
I would agree. Like, I loved Corneria's like uneven terrain to where you could actually go around like pillars. Like, there's strategy and maneuvers to get someone like off your tail.
I love that. That's great. So
Sector Y was just the best, though. I think that was the best map of the
It's a fun one.
Yeah, even by country map. I think Corneria is still pretty good. Virgin is...
I like it, but that's because it's more mind games in that one for me.
It's so fun we're talking about planets, you know, from the game, and my stupid Wonderflower just chimed in, like, do you know the planet is spinning? Thanks, Wonderflower. I did know that.
Like, if we were able to get 3 more maps, I feel like that would be enough for me to feel content with how many modes there are, but, like, I'm always down for more, but if we could just get 3 more, I'd be really happy.
And add a proper a proper objective-free battle mode, too. For most people.
That would be dope.
Yeah. Like, you shouldn't just have friends to play that. Does it support game share for multiplayer as well?
It does.
At least you can play. Don't have to only have one copy of the game to play with people. That's cool.
That was nice. And there's a
Yeah.
bot option too. So if you want to play with bots, that's available as well, which is, nice.
They have they have a difficulty setting on bots that's called unfair.
That's awesome. Oh, I also like how you can send little messages to your teammates as your character. So if you're playing as Fox McCloud, you can be like, go to the objective, guys, or good work, team. And I love that stuff. That's
how
great.
do you send those messages?
D-pad.
Oh my gosh. Oh, now I know.
I will say, positive and negative aside about battle mode. I think it was always like every match that I played was pretty competitive until the end.
Oh yeah.
For the most part, I think that was the case for mine as well. There's maybe a blowout or two, relatively, but yeah, they were pretty close too. Yeah. We'll see how that evolves, though. It's still like very early going, so the sweats haven't ruined it yet. So we'll see what happens.
It is literally my main issue. Best multiplayer of Star Fox, but that's because there's just not.
It's a low bar, but yeah. I had a lot of fun on. I had a lot of fun on 64 back in the day, but there's no way that holds up these days.
I think my main issue with also the online multiplayer is that the unlocks are just the banners for your profiles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and half of them can also be unlocked through the challenge mode anyway.
Yeah, that's too bad. There should be more.
Paint jobs. We should have paint jobs.
It is kind of unfortunate these days that in order to make like a compelling and a multiplayer game that keeps bringing people back, you have to have some kind of like good unlock system, right? Some kind of like economy and unlocks, which is probably another mark against this game. It's not going to get hooks into people like I think it needs to.
I think it had a ranked like just a ranked number next to it. I think I would be more fine with it because bigger number, better person.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Look at me. I'm better than you. My number's bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else about Star Fox you want to mention before we wrap it up here?
I think the challenge mode is more novel than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not like the world's changing, but it has made me really rethink stages that I never even thought about. Even Corneria.
Yeah, it has a good bunch of objectives that you basically can sort of play at the side, and you can just play a level and then put it down again. I think it's perfect for long-term players outside of playing the campaign.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only new meaningful content in the game. So so if you're looking for more Star Fox 64 stuff, there you go. I will say it wasn't. I don't know if I love it myself. Like, again, I played so much of this game. Like, I don't know if I want to do 30 more challenges in each stage or whatever it is. I beat most of Corneria already, but I'm like, I've had my fill, So I think that's my biggest thing about this game is just that it's, for what it is, it's really well done. It's like, man, I was so ready to have a new game, new content,
Yeah, and that leads me to my final statement is that I hope this is a stepping stone to a new basically a rebirth of Star Fox. If they can remake Star Fox 2 with all that they learned, that could be really awesome. Maybe mix it with a little bit of Command since they're essentially kind of the same bits and bops, but they went with different approaches. So yeah, mix a little bit of everything together, and I think that could be something of an awesome sequel where it can feel actually new, and that would be great to have a new Star Fox experience.
Can you imagine such a thing?
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be great.
When was the last new Star Fox?
Star Fox Zero, 10 years ago. Unless it counts Starlink.
I guess so. Yeah.
Starlink's not terrible, but it was pretty. Yeah.
Oh, I see what your point is, Don. But because that was itself was a remake, right? So the first truly new Star Fox, that would be Command, I guess, right?
Oh, I loved.
You did like Command, though. You made a whole video about it, Don or John. So
yeah, Command is good.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think people are just hating to hate.
No, there is a lot of that. So so overall, I think we're all fans of this game. Myself, I'm sick of Star Fox 64, but what I have to, I will say I had fun playing it again, for the 500th time with amazing visuals and somewhat well done voice acting. Rather, all the voice acting is well done. It's just not as iconic as the original game in some respects. But overall, this is a success story, especially if you're new to Star Fox. I recommend checking it out. Battle mode's fun. Just worry about its longevity. And the new cutscenes are interesting, even if I will be skipping them 100% on every subsequent playthrough. Anything else, guys?
That's it.
All right, well, that's our review, everyone. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of our review and what you think of Star Fox itself. And also, it makes me wonder how the Ocarina of Time remake's gonna shape up here in a few months. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, everyone. On that note, thanks for watching. If you want to follow us, you can on any number of platforms. I'll link to them below. But John, where can people follow you at?
John Doe on Blue Sky and John Doe Play on YouTube. I gotta get better at that, but yeah, those are the places where they can follow me.
And how about you, Don?
You can follow me at Nintendan. That's NANTNDAAN. Everywhere.
All right, Team Star Fox out. Bye, everyone.
Get this guy off me! Ah!
I'm trying to crash. How do I do it?
Yeah, I love this feature.